I'd like to welcome you tonight to the annual meeting of the POA Board. Well, if you join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd appreciate. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I'd like to introduce board members. We're going to start on the left over here. Jerry Hover, Mike Abb, David Brandenburg, Bruce Bertello. Our legal representative would be Doug McCash. Jim Abrahamson, the vice chair. Tom Judson, the COO. Mary Sinkus, Pat Lowry, David Waschel, and Dwayne Mitchell, the treasurer. He's got several titles. We also have the audit firm with us tonight, and we also have a election committee with us tonight, okay? And Tammy Lloyd, our secretary, corporate secretary. Okay, at this time, I would like to ask for a motion to approve the 2018 annual minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from 2018 annual meeting.
Okay, a second, please.
Second.
Okay, at this time, a vote. All those accepting the annual minutes? Okay.
%. Right now, the Trafalgar Road fire is 40% contained. They didn't get much work done today because of the rain, but they are 3 work days into it. They started on Saturday, so we are 40% contained, so they are moving rapidly. So we're very pleased with that. Here's a little bit additional information. So firefighting began on May 18th, Saturday. We've been working very closely with ADEQ, AHD, and the city of Bella Vista. They had a large meeting yesterday to make sure they were fully coordinated. The majority of the material that they've been bringing out so far has just been hot ash. So when you see that plume of white smoke come up, that is steam, because some of that ash is as high as 800 degrees. To date, a limited amount of concrete and rebar have been found at the site. No other inorganic material so far. That's good. Air quality monitoring will continue 24/7. If you've been in the area, you may have seen the vans going around, but they are monitoring it continuously to make sure that everything is what it should be. The weather has slowed our efforts, unfortunately. We remain confident that the fire will be fully contained within 30 days. Now remember, there are two phases to this project. First phase is put out the fire. Phase 2 is remediate the site. So the 30-day time frame is for the first phase. Now, if we are 40% contained after 3 days, I'm thinking the 30 days is a pretty good target. So we are very pleased with how it's progressing. To stay informed, please go to the POA's website, bellavistapoa.com/Trafalgar Fire. We post daily information. The ADEQ asked us to make sure we have daily updates, and we fulfill that. There's a lot of information on there, so we encourage you to take a look at that on a regular basis. Now, we did one change. If you've been here in previous years, we held the election results to the very end, the bitter end, so you had to sit through my boring the auditors are right here, sit through the financials. We've moved it to the beginning, and here is, you want me to clicker it forward?
Yes, might as well. Hi, let's hold off just a sec. My name's Tom Throne. I'm chairman of the election committee. I want to welcome everybody here this evening, and I'd like to introduce the 3 other members of my committee, if they'll stand. James Miller, Robert Rischel, and Ann Dahlke. We appreciate their work on the elections and helping with the candidate forum that we had earlier. So with that, the election results are as follows. Steve McKee with 5667. Tia Bidwell with 5256. If we could hold our applause till we get finished. And Jerry Barron Jr. at 4617, and we congratulate all three of them. And that's it. Thank you.
We also had 27.2% of the eligible votes cast. It's a little bit higher than normal. It's usually about 25%, so there was definitely more participation. And we would like to thank every candidate, not only the winners, but also the ones that fell a little short. We thank them for their efforts and their willingness to volunteer for the board. All right, we'll go through the very exciting financial results next. First of all, so audited financial statements. Now, quick note here. The information presented today is sourced from a draft copy of the financials. Normally, the financials are 100% done at this time, but we have the issue with the fire, and the fire is causing a little bit of a delay. So we don't have the audit, we don't have the full version yet. We should get those within the next week to 2 weeks, and you will be able to find those on the POA's website once they're available. So we just wanted to, on every single financial slide, you'll see that I include the word draft. I want to make it very clear these are draft versions. I think I'm safe to say that there's not going to be any huge difference, but there may be some notations because of the fire. Even though we're into 19, the fire started in 18. They had to explain that to me. And that's why they're holding the audit because of that. Okay? All right, so we'll start with the balance sheet first. So here, what we've done, we're giving you a high level. Once it's available on the website, you can go in and you can look at it and analyze it in any way you wish you would like to. But our current assets, you'll see that they have gone down, and that's mainly because of use of cash on projects in 2018. You'll also see that our investments are down because, once again, we used a lot of our investments at that time for capital projects. Okay, equipment is up because, okay, so you had cash, you had investments, you cashed those out, you put those into capital projects, so then the capital line goes up. So the property and equipment has gone up because you have multiple projects that were completed within the year. And then you have the total. You'll see we've gone down a little bit. So current cash has gone down, investments has gone down. We already talked about that. And then property and equipment has gone up, but not quite as much as the other ones going down. All right, we're going to go into the liabilities section. And you'll see that our current liabilities have increased by $600,000. That's from prepaids. So when you prepay your assessments, if you prepay your golf membership and so forth, we're going to, that's going to be a current liability. And accounts payable decreased by $200,000. Long-term bond, these are the water department bonds, and they're down by $500,000 as those bonds get paid off by approximately $500,000 each year. Members' equity is down by $1.8 million of net loss. And you'll see that the total, the current liabilities increased by the $400,000 we talked about, and then the bonds were paid off by $500,000, and then the members' equity decreased by 1.8. I forgot to mention, this entire slide presentation will be available on the website tomorrow. All right, the income statement. And we're comparing, once again, we're comparing 17 and 18, and you'll see that revenue increased to $26 million, just a little over $26 million. In 2017, it was $25,300,000. Let me back up. Sorry. Our income statement. Let's see. Was that revenue? Did I mess up? Oh, okay. Here we go. Sorry. So food and beverage revenue went up as we opened up BV Bar and Grill in March of last year, and we had a full year's worth of operation at Lake Point. So that's the main cause for the increase in revenue. Water went up by $800,000 as we had more users and more usage. As the city has more building permits for improved homes, and as those people use water, as they come on, as their home is completed and they use water, it's going to have a net increase. And then the assessments went up by $76,000, and that was mainly through our collections efforts. Rebates, in 2017, we had a rebate, a large rebate from Carroll Electric, and that was much less in 18, or I'm sorry, not at all in 18. It happens every 14 or every 18 months? Every other year. Okay. And golf fees were down by $134,000 on carts and golf green fees combined. And then past due collections were down. So we had a very large windfall in 2017. It was by and large a one-time windfall. And so that inherently makes 18 look a little bit worse because you don't have that one-time you can only have a one-time windfall once. And we had it in 17. And then donations. So when we received the $180,000, which went exclusively towards the Skills Park, which is at Metfield, that is a donation, and it has to be accounted for in our financial statements. Even though the money went directly there, it's still an additional asset that the POA now has, and it has to be accounted for on our books. We received that in 17. Of course, we didn't get it in 18 because it was already built. And the last one, investment income was down because we, as you recall, in the on the assets, when we went through those, we decreased the amount of our investments, so we'd have less interest income and less earnings and so forth. All right, now we're going to look at the expense side, and you'll see that the expenses went up quite a bit. They went from $24,800,000 in 17 to $27,800,000. So wages went up. Majority of that was attributable to food and beverage. So as you're opening up these restaurants, you're having to pay these employees, and that's going to increase your labor. So Lake Point was full year, where in 17 it was only partial year. And BV Bar and Grill opened up in March, so it was almost full year because we had a lot of those people start in February for training purposes. So other than January, they were almost all full year. Other budget changes across the board. You also have employee benefits. In 2000, so we are self-funded with regards to our medical insurance. It saves us in the long run over an extended period. It saves us money. Now, we do have stop-loss insurance in case something catastrophic occurs, but we are self-funded. In 17, we had a very good year, meaning our expenses were very low. Unfortunately, in 18, they were very high. Cost of goods. So with the restaurants being open, you now have cost of goods attached to it. So every meal that you sell, you get the revenue, but you also have the expense associated with that meal that you've just sold. And then small equipment and tools, $186,000 across the divisions. And utilities went up. Once again, as you now have to turn on those lights for the restaurant. Now you have to pay for that, so increase in usage. And then bad debt. Legal multiple lots foreclosed upon, so we'll foreclose upon those lots, and so there's a cost associated with that because we have legal fees and so forth. and lessees. This was related to the golf maintenance equipment and the cart leases, and that's a benefit on that one. And insurance, we reduced our insurance, or we had credits in 17 on our insurance. All right, so the net income, it went down quite a bit. As we have indicated, we have told the community that it's going to take us 3 years until we break even on the restaurants. So most of these restaurants were in their first year, and so we had large losses. And as we go along, we're going to get to break even. If you look at our budget, if you look at our performance for 19, we're actually very close to budget. We're getting on track to getting to where we had promised our property owners. But you had a large loss in 18 of $1.8 million. All right, let's talk about a few of the capital projects. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with a lot of those projects. We have many smaller projects that are not as interesting, like a device that tells you where the water lines are. Well, I don't think that's not very wonderful to talk about. But let's talk about a couple things. So the country club renovation, that was completed in 18. And that was, once we were done with the project, we were fully ADA compliant. The Branchwood renovation was completed in 18 also. Once we were done, we were ADA compliant. Many of those that use that facility, if you go into the bathrooms, you see that we had to change some of our bathroom configuration to get it ADA compliant. The Metfield bar renovation, that was really completed a little bit into 19, but it was an 18 project, and that made us also ADA compliant. And then Lake Avalon Beach, we completed that in 18, and that was very well utilized in the entire year. And the ramp, the concrete ramp that goes all the way up to the edge, that makes us ADA compliant, okay? You can't make sand ADA compliant, but we can all the way to the edge. We brought in a consultant to ensure that we did it in compliance so that we would not violate ADA. Blowing Springs, the bathrooms and the showers in the back section, those were not even close to being ADA compliant. They are now compliant. And a couple more, the playground equipment. So we installed new playground equipment at Lake Avalon. And Lake Avalon one is really associated closely with the beach, so you can use the playground, and it's a great environment for the kids. We put in brand new playground equipment at Branchwood and at Metfield, and all of those are ADA compliant. And then we renovated the Metfield restroom. That not only was that not ADA compliant, it also had to be closed during the wintertime because the pipes were running on the outside of the building. They now run on the inside of the building so it can stay open during the wintertime. And Ruth, you're back up.
Okay, just a notice of the 54th annual meeting for next year will be May 19th of 2020. Okay, and to the Board of Directors, would like to acknowledge the time and commitment of our committee members, being all 4 committees that help us out with advising, etc. We appreciate their help. Plus the community volunteers, which also help make Bella Vista so special, and it takes each of you to help us out. We appreciate you as well. We have 3 board members we would like to thank: Mike Ebb, Bruce Bertello, and Pat Lowry for their dedicated service while on the board. And we truly appreciate all you have done to help us out. We have gifts for them. And somebody told me I neglected to tell you who I was. I'm Ruth Hatcher. I happen to be chair of the board this year. So now you know who I am.
Since we didn't know what the results of the election were going to be, we figured that we could always hold on to these gifts for 3 years from now. So we didn't know the election results. We just got them in advance. But thank you for your many hours of dedication.
Next slide. going to take this one? We have a special recognition tonight. Do you want to take this one?
A group of board members got together and they wanted to make sure that we had a special recognition for David Welchel. David Welchel is a member of a board, and he is a semi-retired golf course architect, and he has been instrumental in helping us on our golf projects and so forth. So we created this this is actually a mocked up version. It's still under construction, but it will be placed at Scottsdale, and it has a really nice phrase on top. It says, "You make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give." And we really appreciate the many hours that he dedicated to the POA and improving our golf courses. So thank you so much.
Very deserved. David has spent many, many hours helping us out with different projects on the golf course and saved us lots and lots of money. Okay, open forum at this time. And before we start, you did not have a sign-up sheet, so you simply go to the microphone. You have 3 minutes. And to be fair to everybody, we're going to cut you off at 3 minutes this evening. So plan on that. And we'll give you a 30-second head start.
I'm Jim Parsons, and I'm the chairman of the Bella Vista Patriots. And the Patriots are here tonight. I'm representing them to thank Mr. Judson and the board for taking the pro stance on the fire, because if we wait and time goes on and we do nothing, there are going to be those who are going to decide for us. So we feel like it is best for us to take a proactive stance, as you have already done, and continue to work now and start doing things to rectify what's to come. I don't know if you realize how many, the magnitude of the lawsuits that are out there, the millions of dollars that are going to be filed. These will come to fruition in 7, 8, 9 months from now. They're going to be overwhelming. They're going to be more than any organization like ours can stand. And they're going to just keep drip, drip. Entire houses that cannot be lived in anymore. The smoke is in the insulation. It's in the mattresses. It's in their couches and bedding and clothing. And Servco has said that they cannot be removed. It's just going to have to be bulldozed down and built new. Those lawsuits are coming in, and they're going to be overwhelming. And so what I'm saying to the board now is act now, sell off the Arkmo land, sell off the tennis courts, sell off the RV park, the gun range, start there. Deed the water department over to the city. It needs to go there anyway. They can get bonds and improve our water department. The POA never could do that. And am I running out of my 3 minutes?
We've got about a minute
I have
left.
given a sheet here of the things that we need to do. And my point of being here tonight and the Patriots is start on it now. Don't wait, because if we wait, those attorneys out there and the state agencies and everyone else is going to decide for us. Let the members, and let's do it in a graduated way that is reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. State your name, if you would, please.
My name is Bill Smith. I've lived in Bella Vista since 2007, first as a renter, 2008 as a homeowner. I like the fact that y'all are working on getting the stump fire out, but the first part of my question I have for all of you is, what about all the other little places, like on Camden, there's a little road right across from the beach that people have just gone out there and dumped stuff? What about all the other little roads like that that are all over Bella Vista? that never get looked at or picked up from and places like that. It's not just one, there's lots of them. And that's not my fault, that's not her fault, that's not his fault. What are we going to do about those? It's like he said, maybe I'll need to build a committee and start looking at that, because that stuff could get on fire. And some of that stuff may not just be old Christmas trees. Second of all, a few months ago, I got something of public notice about our water failing 2 quarters in a row. Chemicals in the water that can damage our kidneys, our liver, our brains. All right, now, I'm a veteran. I spent 20 years in the military. I've been to 6 continents. I could get water no matter where I was at. And the worst I had to worry about was somebody shooting me. Now I come back here, I have a home, and I'm starting to have to worry and have my psychiatrist convince me that it's safe to drink the water out of my faucet. When we were children, what did we do when we were playing outside? We turned on the water for the garden hose and we drank it straight from the garden. What is the state of our water right now? Is it in compliance with the EPA? And if it's not, and you tell me it is, I will be very upset. I will come back and I will talk to you again about this, because this is not right. Yes, this is not like the situation in Detroit, but quite frankly, I don't want to have my kidneys and my liver fail on me. I don't have knees. I don't have shoulders. I'm 80% disabled and I'm 53. I'm soon going to be 100% disabled. I don't want to die before I'm 60. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service. But to answer your question, the most recent test results came out fine, and we anticipate that future ones will also come out fine.
Anyone else?
Good afternoon. My name is Steve McKee. I want to thank everybody who voted for me, and thank you for your support. I believe it's a clear contrast what the plan is, members first, versus perhaps the path we've been on, which was sort of the public first. But I want to thank the board for their support, the election committee, as well as management, and again to the membership. You know, whether you agreed or disagreed, I wanted to be very transparent and clear from the beginning what my platform was, which was members first. And what it means is that we do pay those assessments, and it should mean something extraordinary for us. But again, don't get me wrong. We love our guests. Bring all your friends and your families. Have a great time in one of the best places to live and retire in America. We know the hard work begins. There are obviously some big issues still out there. It sounds like they're becoming somewhat solved. And then we, of course, have some financial questions. But I think, again, that the path ahead is very clear. Members first. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? If not, I better check, see what's next. Are you up or am I up? Okay, that makes it nice and simple. All you have to do is tell me what I need to do. Okay, before we adjourn, I appreciate each and every one of you coming out tonight. We appreciate your support. We look forward to support in the future, and we thank you very much. And I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do we have a second? And obviously, there's probably not much discussion, so can we have a vote? Okay, we are adjourned at this time. Thank you very much for coming.